on, everybody? It's your boy, and I'm back. Yes, indeed. I'm Brian Redmond, and this is the Relationship Rehab. And on tonight, yes, as they say in the church, on tonight, we have a really good show for you. It is what it is, man. But thank God for Rumble. That's all I can say, man. And if you have not, please go subscribe to my Rumble, because this here ain't promised. And also, subscribe to the Guru and the Whore over on Rumble, too. Tommy and I about to start doing our show again. Yeah. When are we as black folks? Everybody talk about when black community gonna ever come together. When black folks gonna ever get it right. Will black folks ever be able to overcome? Oh, he been saying that shit for 40 years, since I've been around. I think it needs to be a little bit more basic than that. I know this may be a shocker. But when are we as black folks just gonna treat each other with respect? When are we gonna treat each other with respect? How do I better myself? It's by doing the work myself. I need to work on myself. By changing myself. How do I better my people? I need to change the thought process and the thought patterns of our people. Period. That's just what it is. Period. That's just what it is. I don't think that the social engineers were able to see it this far, but the idea and the premise to say, hey, if we can get the main decision maker and the leader out of the home, then we as the government can essentially control this group of people. And that's just something that has been factual with just society. When the man is not in charge of the home, when the man is not present in the home, then it leaves the family vulnerable. It just does. And so I believe that was done purposely for a position of control. What racist system is holding back the 3 black mayors? 3 black mayors. They don't fucking care. They let these niggas run over the streets. They let these niggas. I'm just saying. What system is holding back the mayor of Chicago? What racist system is holding back the mayor of New York? You tell me. Fill me in. Let me know what racist system got these mayors held back. Ain't none. And let me end wrap up with this, and I'm going to throw my cigar. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, and I'm back. Yes, indeed. I'm Brian Redmond, and this is the Relationship Rehab. And on tonight, yes, as they say in the church, on tonight, we have a really good show for you. It is what it is, man. But thank God for Rumble. That's all I can say, man. And if you have not, please go subscribe to my Rumble, because this here ain't promised. And also, subscribe to the Guru and the Whore over on Rumble too. Tommy and I about to start doing our show again. Yeah. When are we as black folks? Everybody talk about when black community gonna ever come together. When black folks gonna ever get right. Will black folks ever be able to overcome? Oh, he been saying that shit for 40 years since I've been around. I think it needs to be a little bit more basic than that. I know this may be a shocker. But when are we as black folks just gonna treat each other with respect? When are we gonna treat each other with respect? How do I better myself? It's by doing the work myself. I need to work on myself by changing myself. How do I better my people? I need to change the thought process and the thought patterns of our people. Period. That's just what it is. Period. That's just what it is. I don't think that the social engineers were able to see it this far, but the idea and the premise to say, hey, if we can get the main decision maker and the leader out of the home, then we as the government can essentially control this group of people. And that's just something that has been factual with just society. When the man is not in charge of the home, when the man is not present in the home, then it leaves the family vulnerable. It just does. And so I believe that was done purposely for a position of control. What racist system is holding back the 3 black mayors? 3 black mayors. They don't fucking care. They let these niggas run over the streets. They let these niggas. I'm just saying. What system is holding back the mayor of Chicago? What racist system is holding back the mayor of New York? You tell me. Fill me in. Let me know what racist system got these mayors held back. Ain't none. And let me end wrap up with this, and I'm going to throw my thing out. Yo, what's going on? I hope this is working, because it's been a minute since I've done it this way. So let's see if it is. Wonder if y'all can hear me. Yes, y'all can. I want to check one more other thing. I want to see if this is working. Yeah, we're going to see if it's working. All right. What's going on, y'all? And let me make sure I got this together. All right. I think we are good to go. Let's do that, and we'll close that. And let's see if I can get that up there. Well, all right. It's all right. All right, good. Is that gonna go? Yes, it is. And that's going. All right, we good to go then, man. I'm glad this is working. Oh, wait, let me see if my sound is if my soundboard is working. Let me see if that's gonna do it or not. I don't think it is. Nope, I don't think it is. It's not working. Because y'all can't hear that. Y'all didn't hear nothing, did you? Nope. Because I don't hear it in my ear. Nope. Ah. Oh, no. Where is... Let me see if I can do this. I wonder if that will change. If that will fix it. Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I can fix it. I think it's a quick fix too. Hold on. So if I go here to there, and if I select that, I wonder if this works. Yo. Voice mod is on. Nope. This, wow. Okay, so voice mod working. That's working. Okay, good. So I got one thing going, but let me see if this is why this one's not working. Let me see if this will do it. All right, change that, and we changed it to this. Let's see if it come through now. I hope I fix it. Oh, I think it's just one of these. If it's not that one, push the button. See if it come through. Nope, it didn't. Okay, so if it's not that, then it may be this one. That's link, and then that should be that. Let's see if that'll do it. All right, try it again.
He killed himself, mama. Se pegó un tiro.
I can't hear it now.
Very sad.
So let's see if y'all can hear it. If I hear it. Nope. Let me see. Huh. Okay. So I think that's it. Because then this one should do the same thing.
We kick y'all ass. Oh, y'all got your ass.
Yep. See, and I can hear it. I mean, I know y'all can. I can hear it through the playback, but I can't hear it in my ear for some reason, and I don't know why. Let me try this. Hold on. Because that's say headphones, right? Oh, wait, let me turn this on. Wait. Hold on, let's try it one more time. If I turn that on, hopefully that'll work.
We kick y'all ass. Oh, y'all got your
Nope.
ass.
I'm not hearing it. Yeah, see, it's not. I can hear it through the stream, but I can't hear it in my ear when I'm playing it. And I think that is because of... Nah, it's not going to let me turn that off. Come on, man. There we go. All right, so I should be able to... How can I hear it through... Oh, wait, let's change that. Let's see if that'll do it. All right, I'm going to play it again.
We kick y'all ass. Oh,
See
y'all.
if that will change it. Nope, it won't. And y'all can still hear it. Y'all can hear it through there, but I can't hear it through here. So, headphones, go back. I got one more thing I can try. If I change it to this, I wonder if that'll let me do it. Yo, I can hear my right, but I can't hear that. Now let me see if it'll let me play
We
it.
kick y'all ass. Oh,
Nope,
y'all.
it's not letting me do it.
Y'all got your ass.
He said, "Ask Chat GBT." Man, I tell you, I will say this for podcasting and all of that stuff. I can say this with everything that can be done with streaming
and all of the stuff that you can do, audio is fucking ice age as compared to what we're doing now with streaming. Like you can stream like from web, from websites and shit like that. You can run multiple streams, but the audio, they ain't figured this shit out yet. This shit is not user friendly. You got to be a fucking engineer to do this shit right. Yeah, this shit is terrible in that regard. Let's do that. Yeah, they got a long way to go with this, man. Yeah. I don't know why it's the way that it is, but it's fucking terrible. The audio, and the problem is that all of the other stuff that you can add to the stream, it's like they're acting like all you connecting to the computer is a fucking mixing board and a mic. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. That is 10 years ago we was doing that, but all this shit that they got on here now, it's terrible. Unmute. And if I unmute that, I wonder if that's gonna start making it echo. Well, it shouldn't. Or maybe it could. It could possibly do that. Oh no, it should. It should just bring in my mix so I can hear myself. And I wonder if that'll do it. This will be the last thing I try, and if that don't work, then fuck it. Yeah. Right. Yeah, see, I can hear myself, and that's fine, but yeah. But it's just playing the stuff through the stream, and it's not playing it through here. And like I said, but yeah, man, they need to do something. I don't know if it's Elgato or whoever, but they need to do something with this shit, because this is terrible. But it's ridiculous how, the audio is just not user friendly. Like, somebody got to do something to where the computer's figuring all this shit out for us, and it's like not that way. So you got to like hook shit up 5 different ways, and that's not the problem. Like the initial setup of it, it's once you get everything hooked up, if an update comes through, it's a fucking wrap. You got to redo everything. If you got like 3 or 4 different programs running, you got something that happens and somebody updates. So my streaming software, 2 of my audio programs, I got a voice mod program. So I got like 4 things that are interfacing, not to mention just what's going on with the computer. I got like 4 things by itself that's interfacing with audio. Then I have other channels within one of the programs that has the different audio, like from my video game, from my voice chat, from special effects, music. All of this is coming through all this shit. And it's like, yes, I need an AI sound engineer tonight. And it's like you have all of these different inputs, but if you don't know it, there isn't a program that like does it for you. And it should simply be, do you want to hear this in the stream or do you want to hear this through here? It connects and that's it. But no, they got all these different extra bullshit. Nothing really works with the other thing without something else. And it's terrible. Yeah, they definitely, the audio, I guess, user interface, it is horrible when it comes to podcasts. Unless you just hooking up a single device with a mic to the computer, that's all we've gotten figured out. Adding all this other stuff, man, please. Your shit will either sound terrible or the first sign of some type of update, it's unstable as shit and it's not going to work. You update Windows, you update the software, you update one of these programs, it's over. So this shit is crazy, but it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and let's get this show started. And I guess my thing with this, I was really, really excited. I almost did this show last night, but I was tired and it was late. And I'm glad I didn't, because I really got to like let some stuff sit in, and I had some time to actually like just think about what it was that I wanted to talk about. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the biggest things, like I said in my in the initial part of the show starting, the biggest thing that I took away from it, the obvious was already stated. pretty much. In that definitely Trump cooked the shit out of Joe Biden in this shit, which we all expected. However, last night I did not realize how bad Joe Biden was off. I knew he was bad, and I knew he definitely has, just in my opinion, some level or some form, some shape, fashion, form of some type of dementia to some degree. But they have known about this debate for how many months, right? They pretty much set the rules, and this is pretty much his administration. They set the rules for this debate. They pretty much they were allowed to quarterback this entire debate for various reasons, right? And the biggest thing that I saw in that, with all of the, basically, y'all got to have y'all way with this whole thing. And to see him come out the way that he did, and you can even see it in the debate, how he kind of like had a slow start where he wasn't really quite clicking on all cylinders. Then later on towards the middle, towards the end, he was at his best. But even at his best, hopped up on whatever the hell he's hopped up on, whatever they're giving him, whatever drugs they're giving him to, get him going, whatever they're giving him. Right, Wolf Bear, they got to pick the questions and everything. So in my opinion, for them, they set him up at his best. This is the best we're going to get with this guy. And like I said, not even counting that early, the first few minutes of it, because yes, he just wasn't there. And then he kind of showed up maybe halfway through, and at his best, he was bad. He didn't know really like what he was saying. He was literally kind of just like saying what was being told to him to say. And I was just basically him remembering stuff. And I would say this just to kind of go in reverse, because I didn't want to end it with this, but I wanted to start it off with this because I want you guys to think about this too. If he is at his best in this debate, right? Just the best we can get out of him, juiced up on whatever we got to juiced up on. If he's doing that now, that indicates to me, because they can't do this to him every day, but that clearly indicates to me that he is totally off the field in the day-to-day runnings of the country. He is not. If you have watched this debate, you're going to watch it with me tonight, but we're just going to hit the hot spots. But from what I saw of him last night and where he's at cognitively, there's no way that he is running the day-to-day operations in the White House. He's the day-to-day operations of the White House and just literally running the country. There's no way he could be doing it. It's impossible. He was not even able to speak to any of the stuff that is going on that they knew was going to go on. And it was like when he was asked those questions that he knew they were going to ask, he had no real-time relevance, he wasn't connected to like what we're doing today, which he had the opportunity to talk about in several questions. Like when they talked about the border, talking about the economy, he could have taken that position to talk about what's going on, what they're doing actually like today, as of this afternoon, as of yesterday, as of last Thursday, we put this in. He was none of that. He was all script. And I get that part, but it goes to show that he is totally, without a doubt, sidelined in the administration right now, which brings the more important question. If he is not running the country, then who is? The person that we have elected, well, y'all elected, well, the person who won the election, right? The person who won the election is not running the country. And that goes to ask that next question as to if he's not, then who is? And the fact that nobody's kind of like asking that question is right now is scary. But the other part to that is the day-to-day operations And I truly just believe that this dude is literally, whenever time he wakes up, he has probably some type of nurse or some type of staff that literally, gets him up, gets him showered, gets him to the bathroom, whatever. And they like sit him down, man. And he's like watching TV or, he can't be running the country. If he's even in the room in the Oval Office for the daily briefing, if he's even in there, he's literally sitting off to the side. And what I mean by that is not that he's like not sitting at the presidential desk, but if he's sitting at the desk, then all of the attention and all of the actual happenings to the meeting is going on over here, or it's going on around him, and he literally has no input. And that to me is very problematic. And all I'm saying is, I just really, really at this point, I want him to make it. Number one, I need him to hold on. Change is coming. I need him to hold out and just stay alive. But it also leads me to believe a couple other things. And that's, I believe that possibly the rumors, that the mumblings that's been going on about the Democratic Party possibly pulling the rug from up under him at the last minute and either trying to change it that way and go with a different candidate. Because I think if the Democrats don't support that ticket and he don't get those votes from the super delegates and all that, I think they can go another direction. I think if with them doing it last minute, I think that could potentially be in the mix, in the works. So people have been saying in like August, when they have the Democratic National Convention, the DNC, they may try to pull it there. That's either going to happen, or there's going to be some pandemic level bullshit that's going to go on to where they can do the overlay for the underlay with this election. It's one of those two things are going to happen. Either they're going to just switch out altogether, or they're going to think, something else is going to go down, and they're going to say, we can't do it because of this, or we're going to have to postpone the election because of this. There's going to be some bullshit. And I agree with you, Wolf Bear. Conspiratorially, in my conspiracy, y'all know I'm 5% conspiracy theorist. In my 5% conspiracy, I truly believe that Barack Hussein Obama is still running the country. The day-to-day stuff, hey, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it. He even said years ago, and I don't know if you all ever saw it, he said years ago, as far as just the terms, he said, I wouldn't want to run again. I wouldn't want to do that. He said, if there was a way for me to just be president behind the scenes and not have to do all of the other stuff, he would do it. And I think that this is like the thing to where this would be the perfect opportunity. So as my conspiracy theory goes, I believe that he is definitely doing the day-to-day stuff. Because my thing would be, and if he's not, then I definitely want to know who is. But that's my best guess, is that he's doing it. Because he's going to toe the party line. He with the bullshit and all the fuckery. He's already shown that part that, yeah, I'm with the shit. Let's do this shit. I'm good. I'm getting money and let's roll. He's with the bullshit already. So I think that he could do it. And I think that it would make sense because he would have the ears of those upper echelon people at the top level of the food chain and all that kind of stuff. The people who are so-called running the world, he would have their respect. They would be behind it. Ain't nobody trying to expose it. And ain't nobody trying to talk about it, especially on this side. Nobody saying a goddamn thing about it. And I believe that that's pretty much what is going on from my perspective in the inner workings of the administration. I truly believe that. He's quarterbacking that shit. I don't know if they doing it remotely. I don't know if he's in a bunker in the fucking White House. I don't know. But I truly believe that dude is running shit and keeping the country going because this guy literally cannot do it. He literally does not have the mental capacity to be present to run the day-to-day workings of the country. So that's just me. But let's go ahead and let's get the debate started. And without further ado, my favorite part of the show.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Oh yeah. Y'all forgive me, I just couldn't resist this little bit of pizza that was left. But let's go ahead and let's get it started.
We're live from Georgia. A key
Oh,
battleground
yeah.
State in the race for the White House. In just
He
moments,
said
the
Obama was
current
meeting
US
what?
President will debate the former U.S.
Let's see, he said Obama, Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. I don't think so, man. I don't think Kamala Harris can be I don't think, because here's my thing. If they wanted her to be the next president, I think they would have did it. They would have did it by now. They could have done it by now. And I don't think that they think that the rest of the world would be okay with that. Because the thing is, she'll tell you anything. She'll say anything. She'll say any goddamn thing. Hey, go and tell us that you are a Martian. She'll go say it. You know, I'm actually a Martian, just so y'all know. She would do anything. So it's like, I don't know if they want to deal with that. But
co-anchor of
yeah.
State of the Union.
I'm Jake Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight.
All right, yeah, why they doing that? But I don't know, man. It's it's scary, man, in that regard of just like knowing like, man, this dude ain't in charge, bro. It's like he not in charge. And it's like if you don't know who the actual person is, then it's like, man, ain't no telling what that person's doing. And it's like, because they have a sense of what is the word? Anonymity, to where you don't know who it is. So whatever gets done, his signature is on it. Do y'all realize that Joe Biden could sign so much shit, and it's like once it gets done and it's over and done with, he could literally be dead, and they would be like, well, he signed it. He signed this it was his executive order. Well, he's dead. So what we gonna do? And I think that gives them a level of, man, we could really do whatever the fuck we really want. And at the end of the day, we could either say, because if there was some type of criminal issue or something like that, if there was some type of criminal charges or something like that that could be filed, it's like, who's going to charge this man? He cannot. Even the FBI said this, like, yeah, he can't, be like, what do they call it? The competent to be able to stand trial. He's non-compos apprendi or something like that, whatever they call it. Somebody will correct me in the chat, but yeah, he's not even competent enough to be able to actually go through a trial. So that's one part. The other part is, dude is fucking 80 something, 84 years old, 82 years old. It's like, bro, he literally, like, really, how much longer does he have? And just based on how sharp his mind is. I'm not saying he's going to die in 2 years, but as far as just cognitively, to where you could actually talk to him, how much longer does he really have like that before he's just like, man, you can't. I don't think they can do it now. I don't think you could tell him something today and then he can go back to you tomorrow and repeat it. Hell, I don't think you could tell him something today and he could tell you 4 hours from now what the hell was said to him. I don't think you can do it. So that's bad, man. It's tough. I don't know, but and the other part too, I'll just say this from a humanity standpoint. It's like, if this was my father, I'd have a problem with this. I would have a big problem with this. And it's like, y'all standing this man up and y'all got this man out here and like y'all know he ain't capable to do this, but y'all doing it anyway. That kind of speaks to their character as a family. Like, y'all ain't gonna even take care of this dude in his last days. Like, come on, man. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
45, 47.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120.
Now that's a fucking lie. And this goes to show you what the elite are dealing with. You're not gonna tell me, and you all, let me tell you, the reason why I'm calling bullshit is because everybody at this debate, they so rich to where they don't shop for themselves. These motherfuckers ain't going to the store. And they got so much money to where they don't give a shit about their grocery budget. They're still buying the same shit. They're still ordering the same shit, getting the shit dropped off by Shipt or whatever the hell, Uber Eats or whatever fucking grocery app will deliver. They're still buying their groceries that way. They're not going to the store and actually looking at prices, because what he said was a fucking lie. You're not going to tell me that there's been the groceries that were $100 and now $120. Motherfucker, if groceries only went up $20, I'd be paying for other people's groceries. Hey, man, don't you worry about it, brother. Go ahead, take this $20, man. Go get your regular groceries. That's a fucking lie. These rich motherfuckers, and that just goes to show you how they got all this shit going on that affects us day to day, common folks, that they don't even have to think about. They don't give a shit about gas. They don't give a shit about energy. They don't give a shit about groceries and food. Those basic things, they have those needs met beyond measure. Because nobody's going to tell me, a motherfucker who buy groceries, that my grocery bill ain't fucking doubled, literally. To the point to where I have to stop buying shit because I can't afford to pay double for the normal groceries I used to get. Shit like ribeye steaks. I don't buy that shit no more. My wife and I just had steak last week, I think it was. For the first time in fucking, I'm talking shit, maybe a year, maybe two. Because the ribeyes we used to get at Costco, them motherfuckers now, they used to be $40 for a 3-pack. $50 if they was like really big. But now those same fucking steaks in the same package, $79, $80. That in itself is a $30 difference. So how in the fuck can the grocery bill on the national average, the grocery bill has went from $100 to $120? Nope. Wrong. The grocery bill has not. It has literally doubled. And unless you are, and people who go and shopping, y'all can vouch for this, which actually means that you have to change. You have to change your options. We don't even go out to restaurants like we used to. We used to, I would probably say, 4 years ago, before COVID, we were probably going to a restaurant to get something, either why I had gained so much. I had gained motherfucking about 35 fucking pounds, but whatever. But it was like, that shit was so much more to eat out and all of that stuff. We had to stop that. I might eat out for lunch maybe once a month. 2 times max. A month. For me at lunch at my job, once maybe twice a month, no more than twice. The other thing is too, when it comes to just the groceries and goes to and sit down restaurants, that shit is so much more money now, man. It's ridiculous. They can't afford it, so they passing the cost on to who? The customers. They just passing the cost on to the customers. And it's like everything went up. So it's not no $20. It's way more than that. You're talking at least double. And then when you add in things like gas, when I first got here in 2018, gas was $1.61. Now, I think today, I looked at the thing, it was $3.24. Gas has doubled. I was spending $50 on a full tank of gas in my truck, $50. Now, I was averaging about maybe $48, $50, somewhere around there. Maybe $52, something like that. $45, $52, somewhere. Now, I'm averaging about $75 for a fill-up. Y'all tell me. It's like, bro, come on. And the fact that I live in a different area now, I'm driving farther. So it's like I'm getting more gas and I'm having to buy gas more often now because I live further away from work. So it's like, man, this is ridiculous. That it's just not true because they don't really know, because they don't have to know. They don't have to deal with that. They don't have to go to the grocery store or write their grocery list making decisions. They don't have to plan their meals for the week. They go where they want to go. They still go eat out at their favorite restaurants, and that's because they can afford it. Everybody up there is making, well, if they're not already a multimillionaire, they're making high six figures. Well over $200,000 easy. So you making over $200,000-$300,000, now you ain't got to worry about that shit. You don't give a fuck how much your groceries are because you can afford it, no matter what it is. Gas goes to $4 a gallon, you can afford it. Gas goes to $4 to me, I got to start making some decisions. Like shit, some shit ain't going to get paid or some shit ain't going to get bought. That's just what it is. So, nah.
Typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem.
So here's the thing with that. And they've been saying this for a long time. And this is the very essence of politics. I mean, politics at its core. Saying what something is when it really isn't. So, and they've actually come out with the numbers with this. When they talk about all of these new jobs, that the economy is bouncing back and we got all these new jobs and people are back to work and all of that. Here's the part they're not telling you. These new jobs, these jobs that have come back, supposedly, they're not coming. They haven't come back. These jobs that we've gotten this many hundreds of thousands of jobs. Those jobs, the greater majority of those jobs have been part-time jobs. So essentially, technically, a job is a job, right? So if Walmart says, hey, we just hired 12,000 people, right? That is very true. They did, or they could have said, they can say that. However, if those 12,000 jobs or those 12,000 people they just hired, if 11,000 of them are part-time jobs, then you're not replacing you're replacing the jobs that you took away several years ago with part-time jobs. So yes, a job is technically a job, and they'll register and read it like that. However, those jobs are part-time jobs. Those jobs are not full-time jobs. Those jobs are not full-time jobs with the same pay that those people had before. Those jobs could be different jobs in different areas where those people who lost their jobs can't go back to work in that same capacity or in that same field like the people who were working for the pipelines. Those people didn't get their jobs back because there's no more pipelines being built, because these motherfuckers stopped it. So what did they tell them? Oh, well, y'all come and work in solar. If I'm a fucking a roughneck working on a goddamn oil rig, what the fuck do I know about solar panels? How do I get trained in solar panels? How do I make the money that I was making on an oil rig in solar panels? You tell me, how does someone go from oil to solar working a manual labor job like that? And see, those are the questions that people don't ask, and you just like to hear, oh, they do get jobs back. The jobs have come back. No, they haven't. When you think about saying, well, these person got this many jobs and these many jobs have become available. Okay, what if those are part-time fucking laborer jobs that are paying a fucking eighth of what you were making before? You don't have a job. Here's somebody that's hiring. I got to take that job? No, I'm making more probably on unemployment than I am making at working at this fucking part-time job. So I can't take that job. But I tell you who can. I tell you who can take that job. An illegal alien. They can take it because they were making nothing. And they were getting free. They still getting their free subsidies that the government is giving them. Free money, free housing, and all that. They can still getting that. But now I can go work this job too and get a little bit more cash on top of that. Yeah, I'll take it. But the guy who was making fucking $110,000 a year working that dangerous ass roughneck job on the oil rig, there is no other job for that person. That's their career. So it's like you have to take into account what somebody is telling you and look at it for what it is. But then you have to look at the reality to say, well, what's the real deal with this? Because if what this person is telling me is true, then why are we still struggling the way that we're struggling? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't understand that part, but well, I understand it. Like I said, it's politics at its very essence. But that's the thing that y'all got to remember when a politician, I don't give a damn who it is, whether they're on the left wing or the right wing, it's the same fucking bird. You have to actually look at what they're actually saying and then look into it to actually get the truth out of it, to see like, oh, so this is what it is. So that's just how that part works, man. It's just one of those things to where they're just saying shit, which is technically true, but the reality of it is people are not actually back to work the way that they were. And that's what the American people are looking for. That's just that. That's just what I'm saying. So go ahead. And let me see what he's saying in the chat. He said audio vice 2. Biden has valid criticism. This ain't that though. I don't know what that means. And I've never seen you before, sir or ma'am. So I would ask that if you're going to make a comment, to please fully articulate what you're saying instead of just quick sound bites or just short statements. So if you have something to say, I don't mind you saying it, but just be well thought out so we can actually understand what the point you're trying to make. Thanks.
The price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they conclude beginning next year. And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you.
So here's my thing. And this was the one criticism that I had of Trump. One of the criticisms I had of Trump as to how this was played out and how he played this. That sounds great. But what did I say a few minutes ago? What you're saying could be true, but let's go into the reality of it and see how real it is. Because here's the thing. He's speaking, and just listen to how he talked during this whole debate. He talked like he's not the motherfucker that's in charge. He's saying, yeah, we're trying to get this down. We're trying to make it better for everyone. We trying, y'all got to remember, we were giving we were giving this in chaos, and we had so much. Here's the thing. The problem with all of this is you've been the motherfucker that's in charge. You've had 3 years to get this shit together. What the fuck has taken you so long to do all of this wonderful shit that you said you're going to do and that you're still working on doing that you haven't fucking done? Because I'm going to say this, with all of the shit you talking about doing, what you actually doing is giving fucking Ukraine $200 billion. What you actually doing is raising my motherfucking utility bill to where it fucking doubled. That's what you're actually doing. What you're actually doing is raising the fucking mortgage rates to where the fuckers, where fucking people can't even fucking buy a home anymore. That's what you're actually doing. All this shit you're trying to work on, and we still trying to make it happen. We trying to make it affordable to everybody. We gonna change the shot from $400 down to $15. Fuck all that. Point is, you're in the seat right now. You're in charge right now. You could actually make this shit happen. It could have made it happen 3-4 years ago. Because like you said, everything was in chaos when you got in the office. So it's been fucked up for 3 years. This ain't just happened. It's been fucked up for 3 years by your words. So if that's the case, why has it taken you 3 years to just get to the point to where you still working on it? Inevitably, what that means is this is the Democrat playbook. They constantly telling motherfuckers what they getting ready to do and what they working on doing, and what's actually being done is the real shit that never fucking affects broke folks, everyday working people. You've been in fucking office, and that's what I don't know why Trump never said it. Like, well, if I left things in such bad shape, why is it taking you 3 years to get to this point? To where people are still suffering, if not even worse. So what? Should we just let your ass stay in office for 10 years, 12 years to keep working on it? This how you work on it? How long does it take for you to work on some shit? Politicians love saying that. We're working on making equality for everyone. We're working on getting jobs back. We're working on getting those jobs back for these people. We're working on turning things around as far as crime and stuff. Man, you talking about when that motherfucker got in office 3 years ago, homelessness is at an all-time high. 3 years and you can't figure it out after that's what the things y'all said y'all was gonna do? Y'all been doing that shit in fucking California for fucking 30 years. Still ain't got it figured out. Shout out to Gavin Newsom. Y'all been doing that shit for 30 years and still ain't figured it out. So don't tell me y'all still trying to work. Well, we trying to work on, we trying to get together right now. We gonna get things down and we gonna make things a lot more affordable. Hey man, you got a fucking piggy bank. You opened up the fucking coffers for fucking Ukraine, and in 3 years, these motherfuckers have pulled away $200 billion, nigga. The fuck you talking about? So we can give these motherfuckers 200 and we got people laying on the street sleeping? We gonna get them 200, but we can't fucking finish the fucking border wall? Come on, man. That's the reality of this shit, and that's politics at its finest. The shit that they talk about, the shit that they telling you, it's all bullshit. You been in the driver's seat, homie. Allegedly. You been in the driver's seat all this time, and you still talking about what you still trying to do, what you gonna do, what you want to do, what you thinking about doing, what you still working on, what you trying to put together, and you still gonna put it together. Meanwhile, fucking Ukraine come over here. Hey, I need some money. Here, how about 100 billion? Is that good? Will that be enough? Well, just come back later. Just take this 100, see what you can do with it, then come see me in another 6 months. Hey, it's Ukraine. Oh, hey, come on in, man. Them motherfuckers leave. Every time Zelensky come over here, he leave with a fucking bag. He be leaving listening to that Rick Ross like, whoa, that bitch bad looking like a bag of money. Whoa, she riding for me. That motherfucker get a big bag of money every time he show the fuck up. And ain't nobody saying shit. But we still working on shit here. We still working on getting housing more affordable. Y'all the motherfuckers that raised the shit up. Fucking mortgage interest rate went from fucking 3% to fucking 8%. Nigga, that's a 5% increase. Motherfuckers can't even buy houses now. That's y'all doing. That ain't got shit to do with Trump. That's y'all. Man, please.
Thank you. President Trump?
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression.
And here's the thing with that. It's like,
which we had in
when you talking about like just the COVID thing, I mean, yes, he handled COVID wrong, but he didn't handle that shit wrong by himself. All them pussy ass niggas in Congress, all them fucking senators, they were all with this bullshit. And here's the thing too, with COVID, we've never had anything like it before. We never had anything that even remotely came close to it. There was no playbook for this shit, right? But my thing is this. When you look at all of the shit that went down with COVID, when you look at how the shit was played out, yes, they fumbled the fucking ball. Trump and them did shit they should not have done. But here's the other part to that. It wasn't just him by himself. It was all our fucking government officials. They were the ones that went with that shit. They were the ones pushing this shit. We got to get ventilators for everybody. We got to buy 1 million ventilators. They were the ones doing that shit. We gonna count every death as a COVID death. That wasn't Trump. That was them motherfuckers. Listening to fucking Fauci. Should Trump have fired Fauci? Hell yeah. Sure in the fuck should have. However, that shit happened on his watch. Hey, you got to take that. Just like you got to take how well the economy was booming before that shit happened. Motherfuckers can say what they want to say. Trump a racist. I don't like him. He's a liar and all. Say that shit all day long. But I can tell you the cold hard facts. While Trump was in office for those 4 years, I never, ever have paid or have made during that time, I made the most amount of money. I paid the least amount of taxes and lived not the way I've always wanted to, but I lived the best that I was able to live during that time. And that is what the fuck I care about. What the fuck I'm paying in taxes now? Man, let me tell y'all, these motherfuckers at the IRS, man, they motherfucking went back to 2017 and went, I guess the fucking algorithm or the computer system they got set up now, they went back and taxed me again for my motherfucking taxes. For 2017, 2018, 2020, and 21. 4 times. 4 different years. Added on to what I already had paid. And from my return, what I already paid in taxes, I had my returns and shit already done. I do my returns every year. I ain't one of them 2-year, 5-year return niggas. Nope. They went back and said, nigga, you owe this much more money. And what can you do about it besides pay it? It's the fucking IRS. It's the fucking IRS. They taxed everybody. That happened under his administration. Mr. I want to bring in 87,000 IRS agents so we could tax the rich. Why you need 87,000 motherfucking employees to tax rich people? It ain't that many rich people. No, you want to tax everybody. Unless your ass is under the poverty line, we coming after your shit. We want more money. Exactly. I didn't even see that what Tasha said. She said jobs are understaffed, saying they don't have the hours to hire more people. Boston gas is already $4.50 to $5.50 a gallon. Exactly. Exactly. So it's like when you look at all of that money that we've had to pay as taxpayers, and it ain't getting no better. And I'm telling you like this. They talking about the national debt and all that. How in the fuck can we be trillions of dollars in debt? We talking about over the past almost 8 years, we've probably added about 8 to 12 trillion dollars in motherfucking debt. How can we do that and then give money to Ukraine? And then say we can't pay off student debt. Do I think it's crazy to pay off student loans? Yeah. But I don't think it's more crazier to pay. I don't think it's crazier than paying fucking Ukraine. I would rather, if we gonna fuck up some commas, I would rather give money to people that's here and pay off their student loans as opposed to giving the money to a fucking foreign country that I ain't gonna never see a dime of it come back to me at all. I can't go over to Ukraine and own a goddamn thing right now. I go over to Ukraine, they ain't got shit for me. I can't go over there and stay nowhere for free. I can't go over to Ukraine and eat nowhere for free. I can't go over to Ukraine and do shit over there for free. Why the fuck are my tax dollars going over there? That's my point. And it's like, that's the kind of shit that people ain't asking these questions and ain't looking at, and they just cool with us giving all this money to them. This nigga's doing that.
His economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term.
And it's like they keep saying that, and it's true. And this is the thing about the politics. This is how the game go. Did he raise the deficit? Yes. Did he raise it higher than any other fucking president? Yes. Because no other president had to deal with COVID. And that's just the reality of it. That is just the reality of the shit. COVID was an unforeseen. That's just like you motherfucking. That's just like we say, look, I'm a carpenter, you're a carpenter. We both are going to build houses. We're going to see who can build the most houses with the same amount of materials for 4 years, right? At the end, I built 400 houses. At the end of these 4 years, you built 1,200 houses. So you've built 3 times the amount of houses that I built. However, if within that time, within those 4 years, I had 3 tornadoes that took out my 400 developments, that would be the reason why. So yes, technically, you beat me. Yes, technically, you built more houses. Yes, you technically did. However, due to a series of unforeseen and unfortunate events, that's why I wasn't able to do what it was that I was tasked to do, and you were able to do it. That's just all that shit is. That first $5 trillion that they spent, Trump didn't even want to spend that shit. But it was Congress and it was the House wanted to spend it. We got to do it. That's just how that shit went. So it's like, yes, it happened on his watch. Yes, he's responsible for it, but just know why. Know why I didn't build my 1,200 houses or even come close to it? Because I had 3 fucking devastating fucking natural disasters hit my area to where I couldn't. That's just what that is. Thank you, David. Context matters. Stop just letting a motherfucker tell you some shit and start looking at the context in which it's being said and look at the whole picture. It's like, man.
He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any, this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
And that is just simply not true. That is just a flat out fucking lie. Like, he literally just said, hey, let's just say some shit that we know ain't true, but we're going to say it anyway. And that's another fucking move in the motherfucking liberal, left, democratic playbook. I don't give a what you want to call it. Them over there. We can break this shit down like it's spades. Us and them. Them, that's what they do. They will literally say a fucking lie. Just literally say a fucking lie, knowing it's a lie, but they'll just say it. Why? Because they've answered the question. Hey, thanks, Calvin. Calvin said, what up, Brian? They saying Gavin Newsom might replace Biden. Yes. I believe if they pull the bullshit and they do the whole okie doke, like, and just like I was talking to my brother Easy today, and it's like, do y'all remember back when when Trump and the first time Trump got elected, but when it was him and Hillary, y'all do know that Bernie Sanders actually won the fucking he won the shit. And they said, no, we gonna give it to Hillary. Bernie beat that bitch. And Bernie should have been the candidate. And here's the funny part about that. I'm telling y'all right now, if Bernie would have won and got the nomination, I would have voted for Bernie. I was voting for Bernie because back then I was still hardcore Democrat because that my mama and them said you vote Democrat because you black. I was definitely voting for Bernie. Hillary had my vote up until I changed my vote in the booth, literally. I was that torn going back and forth. And I'm going to tell you what changed my vote. I was literally like, I was leaning because I was team Bernie. I was going Bernie all day long. I was like, yep, I'm going with Bernie. Plain and simple. I'm going with Bernie. Hey, we good. But once he didn't get it and it was Hillary, my thing was number one, she's a woman. Number two, I have not seen her in any type of real leadership position, except for the fact she was just in the White House and she was the secretary. And when I was like, she was the secretary of the state, I said the way she fucked over them boys, our fucking soldiers in Benghazi, I was like, nah. The other part of it was when I thought back and just deciding that and going back and forth, I was literally in the booth and I said, this is the same bitch that called me a super predator. She's the same bitch that called us young black men super predators. I said, I'd be a dumbass if I voted for this bitch. And I said, nope. I said, Biden. I said, Trump. I said, he a businessman. I said, and this motherfucker, he ain't never called me no motherfucking super predator, but he's at least a businessman. And hopefully we can get somewhere with it. Shout out to my man Dion. Hit me with hit the cash app. Appreciate you, bro. Matter of fact, I ain't checked my cash app in a minute. Hold on. Let me go into this cash app here. But it was like, that was my thing. I was like, you know what? I said, nah, man, fuck that. I said, I got to go with what the fuck makes sense. And that's exactly what the fuck makes sense. Oh yeah, man, a few people done hit the Cash App. Damn! Man, I'm so sorry, y'all. Let me go back. My man Digital Dads hit me up, and this was on the 22nd. This is the other show what I did with Tommy. He hit me up with $10. Thank you, man. My man Mike G hit your boy up as well, man. That's what's up. Hit your boy with $50. That's what's up, man. Thank y'all. I have been totally neglecting my Cash App. And Nick Young hit your boy with $4. Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir. And my man Dion Prime, man. Thank y'all. But it was like, that's what changed me in the booth. Literally. Changed me right there in the booth. And I said, nah, man, I'm going to take my chances with Trump. Because I thought about Trump saying, hey, man, what y'all got to lose? And I was like, shit, bro, you right. At least I already know what this bitch think of me. I already know what this bitch think of me. She can walk around with a bottle of hot sauce in her purse if you want to, but that bitch looks at me and say, oh, Super Predator, how's it going, sir? Can I have your vote? With your super predatory ass. Just saying.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history.
Sure in the fuck did.
All the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because...
Sure in the fuck did. And here's the other part to that. What he said as far as the the inflation and all that shit, yeah, that, like, I started paying for more shit when this motherfucker was in office. Plain and simple. When Biden ass took over, that's when I started paying more for shit. That's when the electricity and shit went up because they did that Green New Deal where they made motherfuckers... they started charging outrageous prices. They stopped us from fucking being energy independent and drilling our own fucking oil and shit like that. They shut down that fucking pipeline. They did that shit day one. So fuck that shit he trying to say. I'm telling you what the fuck happened. And that's why shit went up. But, damn. But as far as let me go back here. So I can make sure I got my shit right.
And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any this
Boy,
decade that done any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why.
That's my point I was getting ready to make. So when you talking about like the tax cuts and what he was saying, because Biden was talking about he made tax cuts for the super rich and all that kind of stuff. Yes, and here's how that works. No matter if you tax the fucking upper 10% or whatever, if you tax them 8%, 85%, 25%, what these people are going to do, and it's been historically shown, shout out to my man Dion, hit your boy with another $3. Appreciate you, bro. He said for what? He said for being a super predator. Boy, you ain't shit. Yep. For dropping facts on energy increases. Yes, thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. And hit me with another phone. That's what's up. But what he's saying as far as when you tax the rich, they're going to do one or two things, because they're not going to lose out and just say, oh, well, we got to pay. They're going to say, okay, we're going to either cut back, or not cutting back on what I spend, but cutting back on our jobs, cutting back on the jobs at the company and all that. We're either going to cut back that way, or we're going to pass those costs, those additional costs from getting taxed, we're going to pass that on to the customer. So one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to cut jobs to make ends meet, or both, or they're going to do both, or they're going to cut jobs and pass on that extra fucking cost onto the customer. Here's the thing, and just think about it like this, because I know that you all have this thing. I used to think the same way about rich motherfuckers, super rich motherfuckers, and all that shit, and they should pay more. Here's what I say to that. Let's just say, like I said, because this tax fucking percentage is 24%. Let's just say 25%. Let's just say if I gave you $100 million and you get that $100 million, and the day you get it, I say, hey man, you got to give me, your government, $25 million for nothing, just off top, nigga. This is what you owe. $25 million. The money you work for, the money you earn, you got to pay me $25 million of that, homie. Now, I still got $75 million, but you tell me this, who the fuck do you know that you would just give $25 million to, and they ain't did shit for you and ain't giving you shit for it? Let that part sink in for a second. Let's say if I gave you $100,000, would you want to give up $25,000 for taxes? No, right? That's a lot of fucking money. When you making $100 million, it's still a lot of money that you have earned, that you're giving to the government for free. That's too much fucking money. You giving anybody 25% of anything that you have earned, it's too much. When they're turning around and giving it to the fucking Ukraine. When they're turning around and giving it to gender research in Pakistan. That's real. They gave $20 million to transgender research in Pakistan. They gave it to Pakistan for transgender research. Yep, we did that. But I'm just saying that's a lot of money. Just imagine, think about it like this. Imagine if someone gave you $25 million. That's life-changing money. You're giving that to your government and you're getting nothing back for it. So should the motherfuckers be paying only 8%? I don't know what that percentage should be, but I believe that there should be a flat tax based on your bracket. So if you making over $1 million or whatever the case may be, you make, what do they call it? Usually, if you're making over 400, if you're making under 400, if you're making under, here's my thing, and just in general, I'm gonna just throw this out there. And I think I've said this before. If you're making under $35,000, you shouldn't pay no taxes. $35,000, take your money, bro. You don't owe us shit. Do your thing. Do not file taxes. IRS, you don't owe us shit. If you making over 40,000 or over that 35,000 or whatever, well, I would even, I would say under, well, in today's economy, I would say probably under 40. If you making under 40, you don't owe us shit, bro. Live your life, man. You don't owe us shit. If you working a job and you're making $40,000 or less, you good. You make it over 40, then your percentage should be 10%, 8%, somewhere around there. Great. And you take that from 40, take that shit all the way up to about 150. You make over 150, then you pay about 10 to 12%. Take that 150 Take that up to 350. Take that up to 400,000. You make it, I'd say take it to about 300,000. You making 300, upwards of 300 to $1 million, then you pay 10%. 15%. You making over that, then hey, your percentage is, 18%, and that's it. That's it. Somewhere in that ballpark. I would say if the top end is 15%, I would say the top end should be 15%. I'm making over $1 million on up. I'm 15%, and that's it. So 15%, then you would go from $1 million down to maybe, from $1 million to about maybe 300,000, 400,000. You could say that's, about 300,000. Then you could say that's about maybe 10%, 12%, somewhere up in there. And then under that, you could say, 8%, and that's it. And here's the other part to that. All that other money that we getting, now this is corporate tax and all that shit aside. I don't know about how to figure that shit out. But when you talking about all of that money that you getting right there just from motherfuckers making their salary, that's where you got to start budgeting right. We can't give the Ukraine $200 million because we don't have it in tax revenue. We need to start looking at our tax revenue. I think it was Vivek Ramaswamy said this. We need to start with a zero-line budget. Fuck all that bullshit. What we got, you prioritize the shit that you got, that we got to do, military, motherfucking, all the other shit that we got, military, the motherfucking deficit and all that shit. You factor, look at all that shit, prioritize it and say this is what goes first. Then you look at the budget and you break that money up based on those percentages. So we say no matter what we bring in for the year, we give defense, they get motherfucking 20% of the budget. You get $100,000 in from tax revenue, then you get that 20,000 over to them. 100,000 come in for taxes, they get 20% in the defense, we get them $20,000. Go ahead. And you go down the road from there. But you need to start with that zero line. Say, man, fuck all that shit, what they got to get. We got to go with what the fuck we got. Right. Cutting that. I'm all for that. Cutting the Department of Education. Cutting that the 3-letter ATF, CIA, FBI. Man, cut all that shit back. Why? Because we can't afford it. Y'all can't have these insane ass budgets no more. Sorry. But we ain't gonna do that.
They had all the jobs, and the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost
definitely
no
cut the IRS.
And it stayed that way for 14 months, and then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last...
And here's the thing with that. So we talking about our national debt, talking about all of the spending that we got going on, all that shit, right? How do you leave $86 billion worth of fucking equipment over in the goddamn Afghanistan? Was it 86 billion or 86 million? I can't remember what the fuck it was. It was either 86 million or 86 billion that they left over in Afghanistan to our fucking enemies. They gave them that all that equipment. Tanks, helicopters, fucking all kind of shit. Just left it. We got to get out of Afghanistan. Okay, motherfucker. We ain't evicting ourselves where you just set our shit outside and walk away. It's like, what the fuck? Calvin said, we don't build anything here. We're buying everything from other countries. And that's exactly one of the things that Trump was starting to stop them from doing. That's why he was putting together that fucking chip factory that they building out. I think it's in Arizona or New Mexico. They building that chip factory over there. It's like, Those are the things that we should be investing our government tax dollars into. Helping a motherfucking chip factory get built here in America. Figuring out how to build more economically affordable cars. Figuring out how to fucking build better bridges, our infrastructure, making sure motherfuckers get high-speed internet everywhere and it's not taking 30 years to do it. Our infrastructure is struggling. You look at our infrastructure and you just talking about power lines, water mains, sewer, gas lines. You look at all that shit that needs our attention and we give it $200 billion to fucking Ukraine. Why? $7 billion of military equipment left in Afghanistan. Just saying. Thank you, David. But it's like, why in the fuck will we be doing? We got fucking bridges and shit collapsing. We got fucking sinkholes every fucking where. We got fucking power lines and shit breaking from frost. And it's like, we got all that shit happening. And motherfuckers is giving $200 billion to Ukraine. So fuck building our shit up. Fuck making sure that my motherfucking sewers and shit is working. Fuck making sure that I can drive over the bridges where I live at. No, we just gonna get his money away.
Last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt.
That right there should get everybody who makes under $400,000 a year vote. He has said time and time again he wants to keep those tax cuts in place and he wants to cut it more. You got my vote, motherfucker, just with that. I don't give a fuck if you slept with Stormy Daniels and any other porn star or not. I don't give a fuck if you put out $100 million on the Central Park 5. I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care if you're racist. I don't care if you're a fucking Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I don't care if you are just the most if you Clayton Bigsby. I don't give a fuck. You just said you want to cut my taxes. I'm sold. Let's go. I'm ready to punch the ticket now. And that's the kind of shit that people who make under $400,000 a year should be motivated by. Not the fact that he said it, but the fact that he's done it and he want to do it again and he want to do more of it. That's the part that we all should be giving a fuck about. Because at the end of the day, no matter what the fuck happens with the economy, no matter what the fuck happens with inflation, no matter what the fuck happens with energy costs, ain't none of that shit gonna fucking matter if we ain't getting no money. Plain and simple. You can get all the fucking promotions in the world, but if these motherfuckers are steadily raising your taxes, it ain't gonna matter.
Why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country.
Yep.
The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out.
True. True. More people died under his administration with COVID. Ask Andrew Cuomo. Just saying. Just saying.
He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation. And it's a shame.
Let me show y'all some shit that David just sent me.
The damage he's done to our country. And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million.
Do you hear that? 24%. That's crazy. But look at this shit here. David Williams sent me this. Look at this shit. This is right now the fucking U.S. debt clock. Look at this shit running. Do y'all see that shit? This shit is so overwhelming. I'm scared to even try to figure this shit out. But I'm looking right here at this national debt in this top right hand corner. Debt per citizen, $103,000. Debt per taxpayer, $266,000. U.S. federal spending, $6 trillion. Federal budget debt, $1 trillion. That is trillion, right? 100,000, 100 million. Billion. Yeah, that's true. Look at that shit. In fucking sane. Jeez. Look at this shit. College tuition, $26,000. College tuition, $2,000. I guess that's in the year 2000. I don't know, but it's $10,000. That shit there, y'all have heard me say that plenty of times about how that shit is a fucking ripoff. College is a fucking scam. It's a fucking scam. If there is anything in this country that needs to be regulated, definitely college tuition is. The shit that they are doing with motherfucking college tuition and just charging whatever the fuck they want, and people are taking loans and shit out against that shit is like those fucking those check cashing places. And it's finest predatory lending. That is predatory lending at its finest. And I know ain't nobody saying that shit, but I'm saying it. I'm going to be one of the first people to say it. That shit is predatory lending.
$1 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if...
And there's the first major brain fart. Pop couldn't even understand it and couldn't even get it out. But I just want to address point out something real quick. So he said with his tax increases, they would generate $500 billion, right? Here's my thing, or $500 million. If y'all can generate $500 million with those tax increases, and that would wipe out so much stuff, y'all do realize that you gave almost half of that to the Ukraine already, and you could have taken care of the American problems here with $200 million, as opposed to giving it away to the Ukraine. As opposed to giving that away to the Ukraine, the $500 million that you're talking about that could help take care of so much stuff here, y'all gave that away to the Ukraine. Just saying. You tell me you tell me how the fuck that ain't been pointed out. That's what he said out his mouth.
We finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare. Because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Yep.
Thank you, President.
He's right than a motherfucker. Like he said, they beat it to death. And they sure in hell did. Surely they've done that. Beat it to death, Jack. Without a doubt. And it's like we giving all this shit to all these people and we're not taking care of nothing to us. He says, will they take us? Thanks, David. I appreciate it, bro. It's like when we look at what the money that we've given to Ukraine, will they pay us back? No. Would you pay it back? Shit. They ain't gonna pay us back. It's all a fucking scam. Here's what they're doing, man. They're taking the money that they're giving to Ukraine. Ukraine is turning around and giving the money, well, some of the money, back to us to help them rebuild Ukraine. That's what you call money laundering. The largest real estate company in the fucking world, thank you, BlackRock, they are getting the money to rebuild Ukraine. So we're giving the money to Ukraine. Ukraine is giving some of the money back to BlackRock, and BlackRock is doing what? How long is it going to take to build back Ukraine? That's just what it is. That's just how that shit is going.
Trump, Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
Here's my thing, and I'm not even going to get into this, but shit like abortion and shit like that, man, that shit should be left to the states. I think that the government, the federal government, They got too much fucking oversight, bro. They're in too much as far as the country is concerned. A lot of this shit needs to be left to the states. If your state is for abortion, great. If your state is against abortion, great. It should be y'all that's deciding, which means the voters in those states should be deciding that, not the fucking federal government. Not the fucking, the federal government should not be determining what everybody's doing as far as something like abortion is concerned. That should be a state's right thing. And if you don't like it in your state, one way or the other, move the fuck out and go somewhere where it is. You know why I don't live in California? Because I don't like the way Californians live. You know why I don't live in New York? Because I don't like the way New Yorkers live. You know why I'm not living in Chicago? Because I don't like the way Chicagoans live. I don't want to get taxed to where I have nothing or I'm barely making it. I just don't. I want to maximize my dollar and have the best quality of life I possibly can. And I can't do that in those places. I don't live in Chicago because I don't want to have to kill someone or fuck around and get killed myself. Because I'm getting gas.
First of all, the Supreme Court
it's just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state can make that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means
he said, if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade. And the great words of the philosopher Cayenne West. How, Sway? You ain't got the answers. How the fuck is he? He's saying if I'm elected, like he ain't in office. Do y'all hear this motherfucker? He's saying like he's fucking not in office. If I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade. What the fuck, dude? You could be doing that now. Terrible.
he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. Great. And by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you,
caravans.
President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed and his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in and his administration, killed 3 American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
So, so you telling me crime has gone down, excuse me, in Venezuela. Crime has gone up in America. You mean to tell me that ain't none of them people from these places, criminals coming over here? Did y'all not just see the little 12-year-old girl that got raped and murdered? Dumped in a fucking ditch on the side of, dumped on the, what is it, a little swamp or whatever in the road, side of the road? Did y'all not just see in the past, 2 weeks, I think it's been 3 women that's been killed by immigrants? So you tell me where these people are coming from. Yep, thank you, JB. 2 New York police officers just killed by an illegal. You do realize that had these people not been over here in the country, that would not have happened. Literally.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote.
Goddamn right.
You will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades. And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani. the two greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world, and it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing.
And he killed them in not being in a war. Just saying.
Our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state.
Hey, yeah, David Williams. I peeped that part too. He said, "Love that Biden just speak. Brandon just speak to them." He called him Brandon. He ain't even peeped that. I caught that last night when he hit his ass with that Brandon shit. That motherfucker, he was just he didn't get it at all. But that shit was good. I like that shot he threw in there. That was good shit.
Is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother.
Look at his face right now.
He just had the funeral for this.
Look at his face, and it's like most people would try to say, "Oh man, he's spaced out." He's not spaced out. The thing is that this fucking cocktail that they have him on, you have this zoned look. He's not spaced out. He's like the shit it's just not good for you. It's like it's fucking you up. It's kind of like if you it's like the adrenaline or whatever. I don't know if it's adrenaline that they got him on or whatever, but it's some type of cocktail like that to give him energy and to like pep him up. But it's like it's fucking, because it's drugs. It's his pupils are dilated, which is why his eyes are like he like that. He just got that look. It's like a glazed look that he has. If you would like to really be up on him, and like, you know how when police officers shine the light in your eye, that ain't to just blind you. It's to look at your pupils to see if your pupils are dilating or if they're doing that that wiggle. You know, like, you know how people will say like your eyes are dancing. It looks like that. So you'll look like that. Kind of like how albino eyes look. It's kind of like that. Like the eyes, your pupils get dilated, which means pretty much like the pupil like opens up. But also there's like a little back and forth thing that it does. It's like moving all around and you can like see that. That's like when they're doing sobriety tests and stuff like that. They're looking in your eyes to see if your eyes are doing those two things. If the pupils are really dilated, then that shows that it's right. It's kind of like that. David, he says kind of like he drank 6 Red Bulls in a 5 hour. And it's like, yeah, it's like you're not locked in, but you're just like, it's like you getting like this surge of energy. But for somebody who has no energy, who's lethargic, it's like you kind of just like here, like, yeah, I'm here. You know, you're kind of like there. And that's what he looks like. Because he's not like engaged in what's going on. He's just like,
this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible.
He's showing like no reaction to his words. He's not sitting there like, he's not doing anything like you. If you actively listening to somebody, there's also some level of eye contact, but you also have the engaging gestures like, like you're thinking, like you're hearing something, maybe taking notes or something like that and listening like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna respond like this. Okay, he just said that, I'm gonna hit him with that. You know, that whole thinking thing, he's not processing. He's literally just like on, like, my turn to talk. Okay, when I see, that's what he's doing. So that's what I'm seeing here.
What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nope.
See, like how he just did that look away? That actually registered. That part actually registered to him when he said that. So you can kind of see the difference as to where he's not out, but he's in and out. So it's like some of the shit he's catching because he's able to because of the shit he's on. Then a lot of shit he's not able to catch. just because of the shit he's on and just his actual mental state and capacity. He doesn't have the capacity to really like do this shit, which is why I said when watching this, I truly believe in my heart that he's not even a part of the day-to-day shit of the country. He's just not.
Nobody's ever seen anything like, and we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one.
And that's the thing. He's like, this is that part when I say, you know, you just say some shit, even though you know and it's not true. You just saying it just to make the response. That was his thing. He's just not true. It's just not. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. We got pictures of you actually doing this right here. Here's the video footage of it. That's a lie. Just like with that fucking laptop. They got the laptop and got all that shit. That's a lie. It's misinformation. 3 years later, it wasn't a lie. Okay.
For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans.
That ain't true.
My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made
Sure
it up.
was.
It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up.
And that's my thing with this. It's like all of that shit that he's saying, there's no way and here's the thing. If he would have said that where he was when they're saying that he said that, it would have been, fucking atomic bomb catastrophic. No one would say that in that setting with those people being there. It's bullshit.
Who said you said it, period. That's number one. Son was not a loser, was not a sucker.
He's not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him.
Exactly.
Just like Russia was made up. Just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. And
that's the thing. It's like they say all of this shit and it's like, dude, it's not true. You got 51 people to say a fucking lie and there's no accountability. 51 of those people signed off on that shit. No accountability. And the shit was true as fuck. And they say, it's not true. Yeah, it is.
Information. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it. Period. That's not
1 against 19 people. And it was a general that he fired, I believe.
number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year.
He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis, and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened? In Israel, we're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. One Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so there are 2 different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden.
Here's the other thing to that. Number one, you're talking about a 3-stage plan that you still haven't started yet. Not one of those goddamn hostages are back. That's one. Number 2, if you're the person that's in power right now, you're in the seat, why would it have to take you 3 stages? Why is there not we got to start a ceasefire first, then we're going to try to get the hostages back. We're going to get the hostages back, then we're going to try to stop Hamas. Once we stop Hamas, we're going to... Why aren't you just doing that? How long does it take to do that? And this is the thing. This is how Democrats... This is the game they play. They tell you this grand fucking idea of how they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and they take so long to do it. By the time that it's possible to be done, they're out of the seat. So they never do it. Just like with the homelessness in California. Every fucking governor, every fucking mayor in California and in Los Angeles has talked about how they're going to fix homelessness, how they have a plan that will eradicate it in 5 years and all of that shit. But they all never have done it. They just talk about it. They spend billions of dollars talking about it. And it's nothing but a money grab. And then they walk away and it's gone and nobody says a goddamn thing. Skid Row is a fucking mini suburb right now. It's a fucking city. it is fucking. I think they said it has either doubled or tripled in size. But nobody's saying anything about it, and you won't see that on the fucking you won't see that on the news because it's a bad look for Gavin Newsom. They'll never put it out. And that's the thing about Gavin Newsom is like, do I believe that they're going to... Gavin Newsom is either going to get in with some overlay for the underlay trickery shit they do this election. And if he's not in or not the nominee for this election, he's definitely going to be in the next one. Definitely. He's definitely going to be the nominee. Just mark my words. If you don't get it this go round, you best believe next go round, he's up.
Don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Tomas. Greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for what using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have our strength lies.
You see how, and you can see now how Biden, I mean, the best way to say it is he's like woke now. He's up. Like he's up now. You can kind of see like he's emotionally hearing what's going on and he's reacting to it, you know, without speaking. He just facial expression and things like that. And then he's speaking. So like by this time now, he's like actually he's moving now. The oil and shit has gotten around on the gears and they're turning now.
And our alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continuing to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine.
Shit is wild.
And then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world.
He said dislocation.
No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
Now, I'm going to give him his credit right here and say that even though I don't agree with the shit, this was one of his more or most lively responses, actual responses in the actual debate of what they're talking about. This is actually one of his better. He, like I said, by this time now, he's rolling now. Wyatt, I am rolling. He's rolling right now. So it's like, okay, he's actually in the moment. He's coherent. He's able to cognitively understand and respond. So it's like this was one of his better responses, even though I disagree with his response. And you want to talk about the truth and the lie of that, but this is one of his better responses. He's like actually with it in this moment right now.
President Trump, just to follow up.
And that's kind of like why I wanted to let this part play out, because in just being fair in that, because he wasn't just like a fucking vegetable for the entire fucking debate, but he had his moments where he was actually in it. And you could really see it. Like you can tell right now, he's like in it right now.
Would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see. But before we do that, The problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they
And I agree with that right there. All the other shit he about to say is cool, but that's it right there in a nutshell. We're spending all of the fucking money. We're spending all of the fucking money. And when you look at the fucking debt ceiling, where's this shit at? Oh shit, I minimized it. There we go. When you look at this shit, damn, where's it at? You got me caught up in the moment. Whoa, she riding for me. Oh, there we go. So when you see this shit here, it's like, bro, we spending all the money. Fuck you mean? We're spending without, when you got this, why should, when this is all that we're dealing with, why should we be spending all of the money? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This little part right here talking about our biggest, our largest budget items: Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the defense, and interest on debt. You take them four right there. Why are we spending the most money on any goddamn thing that's outside of the U.S.? You feel me?
To kill us on trade, I made great trade deals with the European nations. Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture.
Yeah.
I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia, at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions. That made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
And here's the thing, too. My 5% conspiracy theory. Number one, you can't have a coup. When you talking about January 6th, you can't have a coup without fucking weapons. Number two, I mean, it's not a coup if there's no military involved and there's no weapons. Number two, the other part of that is, why would you deny National Guard unless you wanted some shit to go bad? If I know this motherfucker is going to have a fucking rally, I know this motherfucker done lost because we did the overlay for the underlay. I would be like, yeah, if I don't want shit to go left and look really bad, I would be like, yeah, you can send them. We'll find some place for them to go and get them in there and do something to keep the shit safe. Fine. But if I be like, nah, fuck that, I don't need them, keep our name out your mouth, then it's like, yeah, I'm asking for it. David said, yeah, according to the LA Times, Skid Row is a 50-block area that has about 10,000 plus people. Yes, I'm telling you, bro, people don't get to see it because it's just not in the news because the media is with these motherfuckers. That's all I'm saying. That's the only reason why you don't know. But if you go and actually go and Google that shit and look at how big it is now. And it's like that shit, it's way more than 10,000 people down there. A 50-block area, bro. Downtown LA. And this is like not far from fucking downtown LA. LA and the way that it's set up, it's like that shit is like, it's there. And it's like, nigga, this is LA that this shit is in. Straight fucking tent city motherfuckers living on the streets, fucking on the streets, fighting on the streets, shitting on the streets. They doing everything on the streets. Like, that shit is fucked up, bro. And ain't nobody saying nothing about it. San Francisco the same way. San Francisco might be worse, shit. Just saying.
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something.
To do the right thing, but they didn't. And Sacramento was fucked up too. You're right, horse lighting.
Call for a stop to end it. Instead,
Horse
he
lightning.
talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation.
And here's my thing with that, with this January 6 people that they get locked up. Number one, if y'all gonna lock them up, then y'all need to lock up everybody that looted and everybody that rioted during the George Floyd summer of fun, as these fucking Democrats said. Summer of protesting fun. They did way worse. The other part too is to niggas, all black people, all of these motherfuckers got this shit going. Y'all all need to shut the fuck up about this shit and what happened on January 6th, because 90% of you niggas ain't never even been to the Capitol, don't even know what the fuck the Capitol is, don't know what the fuck goes on at the Capitol, but make it a point of contention to say, man, I can't vote for him, man, for what he did at the Capitol. Shut the fuck up. You take most niggas to the Capitol and they'll think that the fucking Washington Wizards play there. You take most niggas to the Capitol and they'll think it's a fucking library. You take most niggas to the Capitol and they will think it's anything but what the fuck the Capitol is actually, what the fuck actually goes on in the Capitol. You ask a nigga what happens at the Capitol and a nigga ain't gonna be able to tell you. I'm so sick of niggas bringing that shit up. I swear to God. Y'all niggas ain't even been there, don't go there, ain't trying to go there, don't want to see there, and then you act like that was just the worst thing. Man, I can't believe they did that to the Capitol, man. Nigga, you don't even know where the fucking Capitol is at. You can take a nigga to the Capitol and he'll be like taking a fucking selfie talking about he in front of the fucking White House. So I'm sick of niggas bringing that shit up. Please, niggas, do not bring up January 6th around me. Please don't. Please don't. Because you niggas don't know shit about the Capitol. Y'all niggas don't even know the shit from motherfucking Schoolhouse Rock about the Capitol. But y'all make it seem like it was such a sacred place to y'all and it's been desecrated. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know how many cases.
His son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo.
At its finest is quid pro quo. But not for these motherfuckers. It's that motherfucking justice for thee and not, rules for thee and not for me shit. That's just what that is. And the fact that this fucking Justice Department and the shit they're doing with these judges and all that shit, y'all can clearly see what the fuck this is. It's the overlay for the underlay. And this shit, this dude is literally trying to take this dude out because he is running against him in political office. That's it and that's all. And he's willing to break the rules to do it.
That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have...
And I agree with that. That shit is true as hell. It's like, that shit is real to the motherfucker. That motherfucker... Y'all know that shit was wrong. Yes, and I keep saying this, and I hate when people say this the wrong way, but yes, Joe Biden won the election. Absolutely, he did. However, the way they won it was not fair. Plain and simple. The fucking ballots and the shit that they have with them ballots, that was bullshit. Those harvested ballots that they got, them ballots that they was just dumping in from mail-in ballots from dead people, that shit should not have counted, and it did. It is what it is. They showed the shit. They even showed evidence of people voting and talking about addresses that didn't exist, but they casted votes. They brought in all they're bringing in and brought in all they're bringing in all these fucking illegal immigrants and these illegal aliens, and they're gonna give them the right to vote in these fucking states, and they're gonna give it to them in a lot of these not border states, but in a lot of these deciding states where it's gonna be, hey, you need this state to win one way or the other. That's where they're trying to do it. The Pennsylvanias, the Michigans, the Georgias, they're trying to let any and everybody who want to vote come and vote how many times you want to. And that's bullshit. But yes, he won the election. And we need to stop saying that he didn't. He won the election. However, the votes, the people that voted and the ballots, that shit was not accurate. Plain and simple.
Said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before.
He never said that, but whatever.
No president in our history has spoken like that.
Swing states. Thank you,
Number
Ernie.
three,
What was I saying?
crimes you are still
Border
charged
states.
with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about?
I tell you what, as they say down here in Texas, I tell you what, I'd rather my president have sex with a porn star than to be sniffing little girls' hair. I'm just saying, I tell you what, I'd rather my president sleep with a porn star than to be putting little girls on his lap so they can feel the hair on his back. I mean, the hair on his legs and shit. Like, I tell you what, I'd rather my president sleep with a porn star than to be sniffing on little girls' hair. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I want to, let me see if there's a couple other spots in here. I'm going to jump around a little bit.
Still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home, increase economic growth because more people can.
Here we go. I want to definitely hear this part because this is shit about black folks. And here's my thing, and this is why I really, a lot of just niggas who can't articulate themselves, why I don't like discuss politics with them niggas. Because of shit like this. Like when you flat out have straight up truth. This motherfucker has been in office for 3 years now, right? 3 years. Just 3. I'm just saying, this motherfucker been in office for 3 goddamn years, man. All right? And if he ain't did the shit that he said he was going to do, then that's why I want to see this shit right here. Yeah.
From Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
Watch this.
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses.
There is literally not a single fucking program for black Americans to be able to have afford housing. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing for a motherfucker, for a black family to be able to buy a house and get some type of incentive. But that's what he pretty much just said. Unless this motherfucker is talking about Section 8, there is, and that's for everybody. There is nothing that's in place to say I'm black and I'm trying to buy a house. Here's some help for me financially. Ain't one, ain't nan. I ain't heard it. I ain't seen it. Ain't there. There ain't nothing around for that. What the fuck are you talking about? The same shit they got for poor motherfuckers that's buying houses and shit like that ain't nothing specifically for black folks. To where, and that's what the fuck he said. There is nothing specifically in place for black people today to where if I'm going to buy a house and I'm black, fuck what fucking tax bracket I'm black. Where's it at? There ain't one. Fuck out my face on the internet.
In addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to
There is nothing for black folks in child care. Right now, I'm paying for child care. I'm paying up the ass for child care. There is nothing specifically for blacks that gives me anything back being a black person paying for child care. It's a fucking flat out fucking lie. This nigga's been in office for 3 years and there is nothing in place for that. Just saying.
Reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half.
My child care cost has not been cut in half. Facts. How do you even fucking do that? Are we gonna cut black folks' child care? We gonna cut black folks' child care, but we're not gonna cut white folks' child care. We're not gonna cut Asian folks' child care. They're all taking their kids to the same goddamn child care place, but we gonna cut just the blacks. Haven't seen it, ain't gonna see it. It's a fucking lie.
To make sure we provide for child care costs.
He ain't providing shit.
Provide those child care protections. You increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done.
See how he's all overarching? There's so much we can do. There's so much we're gonna do. There's so much still to be done. We're gonna keep working and keep plugging away at it. You just keep voting for us and we're gonna do it. Hold on 1 second. What'd you say, Zelensky? You need 20 billion? Hey, can you guys cut him a check for $20 billion, please? Better yet, just give it to him in all cash. We got cash in the back. Yeah, give him 20 billion. Well, fuck it, just give him 40. Will 40 work, Zelensky? Okay. You give him 40 billion and then, yeah, just call me later, man, and then we'll talk, see what else you need. But you can just take 40 billion with you now. Yeah. Fuck it, make it 60. Just take 60 billion, man, and just call me. Yeah, I got to finish talking to these niggas. Yeah, what we going to do is we going to keep working on stuff and just you guys just keep helping us and we going to help y'all. We going to work through this and we going to get there.
But we've done a great deal so far. And I'm
great deal.
Up and they know it.
A great deal and they know it. I don't know shit because it ain't shit that's been done. Ain't no great deal or nothing, motherfucker. Don't lie to me. Ain't shit that's been done. Ain't shit that's been given. I'm a black person with black kids and I've been paying child care and every goddamn thing just like every other white person and every other Asian person, every other Hispanic person on the goddamn planet. Ain't shit out here for no type of tax break, tax cut, nothing for black folks that's out here working. Now you talking about a motherfucker that's on public aid? Fine. It probably is some shit. I'm talking about us everyday working niggas. There's nothing available, nothing out there, nothing has been put out there, nothing on the back burner, nothing on the front burner, nothing that coming down the pipe, nothing on the table. There is nothing. Nothing for niggas.
49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still...
He just said they made all of this shit, and he just said we made all of this progress and we know it, but then he turns right back around and says, I don't blame you for being disappointed. Because we are, motherfucker, because there ain't nothing there. The shit you talking about, it don't exist and it didn't happen. You're literally just saying some shit. That's it. You're just saying something just for the sake of saying it. It's not even remotely true. You have no factual evidence or data to back up what you're saying. You're just saying the shit.
Hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home, so they can.
If you've been in office for 3 years, why ain't that happened? Because I sure didn't get it. I bought a home in 2022. I didn't get a goddamn thing. I didn't get no black folk nigga tax credit. Whatever the fuck you can call it, a nigga house credit. I didn't get it. I want it, but I didn't get it. There is nothing because it don't exist. I could find a fucking unicorn before I find your fucking tax break. Because it's non-existent. I could find I'd be better off finding a goddamn leprechaun to get $10,000 from than to get $10,000 from your first home buyer tax credit that you done had 3 years to put in place, but you still haven't because of what? I know why you ain't did it, because you're too busy giving $60 billion to fucking Zelensky. That's why you ain't did it. That's why niggas ain't got shit, and that explains the abrasion on your palm. All this shit you talking about, we gonna do, we could have did, you done had 3 years to do it and ain't did a motherfucking thing. Mind you, this motherfucker done had Congress and motherfucking Senate on his goddamn side. Well, he had the Congress, I think. I don't think he had the Senate. Executive order my goddamn $10,000, motherfucker. I want it. Why are you here for your $10,000? Because I'm black. But you're black. Yes, give me my 10 racks back, bitch. Please, ma'am.
Get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were bullying,
right,
that if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest was forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that.
Why should we give $60 billion to Ukraine, but we gonna make Americans work for 10 years to pay off their student loans? I'm just saying, why would we do that? Why would we do that? That's all I'm saying. Why would we have to make Americans work for 10 years in order to get their student loans paid, forgiven? But we'll just give $200 billion to motherfucking Ukraine. Why? Because they showed up. We'll give fucking Israel all the fucking weapons and guns and shit they need, except for the 2,000 pounders. We won't give them those, but we'll give them everything they need. We'll give them all that shit. They can have it. Yep, whatever you need, man. We're going to open up the door, take whatever you need, brother. But you niggas, you Americans, oh no, y'all got to work for 10 years. Volunteerism and all this other shit I'm making up. Yeah, that's what y'all got to do. Then we'll send you through the process of forgiving your student loan debt. Other than that, pay it up, nigga.
And we're going to do a whole lot more.
Whole lot more.
Families.
Black
Thank
families.
you, President Trump.
Right.
And he caused the inflation. He's
Thank you.
Inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad.
Thank you.
He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families. And
Thank you.
Everybody. It's killing people. They can't
Thank you.
buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled.
Thank you. And that's the truth right there. These motherfuckers made inflation and fucked up the fucking economy. Not Trump, and it's not us. They did it. That's why we frustrated, because of what the fuck y'all did to us. And now you talking about how you gonna fix it? How the fuck are you gonna fix it and you did it? Yeah, I know I broke your jaw, but if you come and have a seat with me, I'll reset it for you and wire it shut. Yeah, I know I shot you, man, but, if you come over here, and just sit down for a minute, I'll take the bullet out and stitch you back up and get you back going again, man. Yeah, I'll do that. Meanwhile, groceries have fucking tripled, dude. Fuck you talking about? Doubled. Fuck you talking about? And it's because of your ass.
They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave
Exactly.
him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now. And it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet.
Exactly.
But you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you,
Yep.
President Biden.
And here's the other part, and I can wrap this up with this. They're taking those jobs, and they don't give a fuck because they're going to make them citizens and allow them to vote. You got to think. If it's 323 million people living in America, right? You got about maybe 44 million of those are blacks. If I let in 20 million immigrants, and out of those 20 million, if I can get 10, 15 of them to vote, we know 44 million blacks ain't voting every year. Less than half of those people are voting. So then what? What have I done? Like y'all have heard me say before, I've nullified the black vote. The black vote is non-existent and it don't matter. Just like the Asian vote doesn't matter. Just like the Pakistani vote doesn't matter. Just like the Indian vote doesn't matter. So now it'll be, I need to go after 2 votes. The white vote and the Hispanic vote. That's it. My party is responsible for bringing over all of these Hispanics. If I can get half of them to be loyal to my party, I'm good. It's that simple. That's why they're wanting all of the illegal immigrants to come to Texas so they can try to flip Texas purple. That's why they want all of the illegal aliens to go to places like Michigan, which is we're going to send them to the sanctuary cities. Let's send them over here. Send them to Michigan. Let's send them to Pennsylvania. Why? Because those are swing states. And if you, instead of them being a swing state where they'll go one way or the other, they'll have them go one way. They'll turn it blue. Solid blue. That's why they're doing it. And that's why black folks are getting hurt. And he's the motherfucker responsible for it. So that lets you know what he really thinks about us black folks. Talking about, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, he don't give a fuck about blacks no way. Because that's why he letting all these motherfuckers over here. So that they can totally eliminate the black vote. You never hear anybody saying, what are you going to do to secure the Asian vote in this election? They never ask that question. Why? Because there's not enough Asians to swing the vote, to swing the election one way or the other. Ain't no 44 million Asians here. That's the reason why. You don't ever hear someone saying, well, what are you going to do to secure the Indian or Middle Eastern vote? There's no 44 million Middle Eastern people here. So once they actually get enough illegal aliens over here, they're going to make them all citizens, give them blanket immunity, and let them fucking vote. And I promise you, it's going to be way more of them voting than it is niggas. Now, here's the real kicker. Fast forward 20 years from now, and all of those people that came over here will have also had children by that time, because y'all know how fast these motherfuckers love to reproduce. And those fucking kids that they've had will now be at voting age. And what do you think they're going to vote? They going to vote Democrat because their parents voted Democrat. the nigger vote is going to be non-existent. That's just what that is.
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy, absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs.
So if he decimated the economy, why would y'all do things to raise the inflation of the economy? Do y'all realize that, just to add insult to injury, do y'all realize that the motherfucking tax break that they gave us, or not, I'm sorry, not tax break. Do y'all realize that the stimulus checks that they gave us was nothing more than an advance on our child care tax credit? We literally had to pay it back. We literally had to pay back those last 2 fucking stimulus checks. We had to pay them back. And they took it out of our tax returns. But they gave Ukraine $60 billion, $200 billion. Yeah, all right.
Jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, the ACA has increased. I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again. And they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing any, we put more police on the street than any administration has.
That's a lie. They have not. They haven't put more police on the street than any other country, any time the nation ever has. They have not. There's actually a police shortage. Because those motherfuckers in their good old defund the police shit. That's a flat fucking lie.
He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it.
Where? How? What are you talking about?
There's a lot going on. But in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is
the pandemic is not the reason why we have inflation, y'all. Like, what the fuck?
the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat.
I'm not talking about that global
of
shit.
Their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're going to, I've been proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one after, I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent. But the biggest thing will do if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare.
He's never said that, dude.
And if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where
this is ridiculous.
400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where I talk about education for black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition.
Now, y'all just saw that shit I put up about the debt, right? So I get $15,000 for a Pell Grant but tuition is fucking $26,000. where the fuck do me, being a poor, disenfranchised black person, where the fuck do I get another $10,000, $11,000 from? And the Pell Grant is only a one-time, one pop Charlie. See what I mean? That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit.
He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy.
Exactly.
Lies. I've never seen it. He could look you in the face. About so many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto
giving
Social
them that
Security.
money.
They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable.
And that's just basic math. How in the fuck do you let someone who come over to our country, never worked a day in their life over here, never given or pay anything in taxes or in Social Security, how do you just start giving them Social Security money, Medicare and Medicaid money? How do you do that and think that shit's going to work out? It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, and that just lets you know what they're saying and what they're actually doing. The shit don't add up.
Unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the
United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world, the finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody. Number one. Number two, the idea that
nobody wants to screw around with us, but that's why Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why Hamas is fucking around with Israel. Yeah, okay. Enough said.
Talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking.
And Donald Trump had not a single war during his presidency term. Yeah, all right.
Look it up or go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians. They've had meetings and they voted.
And what the fuck does a presidential historian do to evaluate who's the better president or not? I don't know who the better president was between fucking George what the fuck is his name? Not George Washington, but Cleaver and fucking Calvin Coolidge. I don't know who the fucking better, because I wasn't living during that time. So it's like you look at all of that shit and say, back then it was this and back then. What the people in this time are saying. I've lived through Trump's administration and I'm living through Biden's administration. My life was better then with Trump than it was with Biden. Fuck that. And that's with COVID. Fuck that shit he about to say now, because that's not the reality. He's literally just saying the shit.
He was the worst president in American history.
He's not.
From best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a
He's
fact.
not.
That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is...
They voted. What the fuck does that mean? We all voted and that's what we said. We voted and we said that Michael Jordan is the worst basketball player of all time. That's a fact that they said it, and that's a fact that they voted. Is it fucking true? No. And that's the kind of shit we got to deal with when it comes to fucking around with these politicians. That's why I fucking can't stand a politician. Give me a regular Joe Schmo or a businessman that may not know as much, but got a fucking brain, common sense, and a fucking heart. Give me that motherfucker over this motherfucker any day of the week.
Doing anything to deal with child care. He did for virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, the question was,
how is it that he hasn't done it and he's sitting in the seat now? And this lets you know while Democrats are full of shit. And they're all talk and no action unless there's some shit for them. Why in the fuck would you not have increased it? You've had 3 years to increase the child care tax credit, and you haven't done it. You haven't done it because you don't give a fuck about it, because you're not going to do it. You are the motherfucker. You ain't running to get in there to do this. You said you was going to do it, and you ain't did it. And what the fuck are we waiting for? It's bullshit.
Was about what would you do to make childcare more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you. And they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best.
That's true. He's saying, show it, his approval rating is the worst ever. So this voting board of historical, presidential historical evaluators, they voted him. So I guess the approval rating of the president don't matter. He's the worst, has been the worst, consistently. They've been saying it for fucking 3 years, how his approval rating has been in the fucking shitter. It's below the standard of the normal disapproval rate for presidents that usually get disapproved, that have been getting low disapproval ratings or high disapproval ratings. What the fuck? Right. The college debt he said he would wipe out, they did shit with it. Still there. Bing bong.
Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us.
Yep.
He's the only one I know
Facts.
who wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He
Facts.
wants to raise everybody's taxes
Facts.
by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts
Facts.
to expire. So everybody, including the 2 of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody
Yes.
heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see.
They are literally going to tax us till we are on our fucking knees. That whole idea of you will own nothing and you will like it, they mean that shit. And all he's going to say is, come on, we got to do this. Come on, we can do this. Come on, we got to do this. Come on, give me a break, man. We're going to do this. That's all he's going to say. They will fucking break us. You, and you. You ain't going to have shit. You're going to be living off of fucking scraps.
Politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back.
Thank you, Easy Money. He says it's below Jimmy Carter, motherfucker. It's below Jimmy Carter, and Jimmy Carter was terrible. Dude has a 37% approval rating right now today. But Trump is the worst president? Get the fuck out of my face, man. Get your lying ass out of
Our
here.
country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about, he's increased the tariff, he will increase the taxes on middle-class people.
No. You see, and this is one of my parts here. He was saying because he's done it. He's increased my taxes. I'm paying more. Fuck what he's talking about. I'm paying more. That's a fucking fact. I am paying more in taxes and have paid more in taxes over these past 3 years than I ever had. He did that. That got shit to do with Trump. He did that. Just saying.
I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that are important. Number 2, he's in a situation where...
Says he's saying that to the guy who said he wants everything to be coming from here. Right. Bullshit.
He talks about how he has not raised, he somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of 5.
That's not true, man. The middle class is devastated because of you. I'm in the middle class, motherfucker. And I'm devastated because of your ass. That's the fact.
$1 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are at the lowest trade deficit with China since 2000.
That's because he's not the president. You are. Why would he be making progress with China and you're the president, sir? This dude is fucking gone, G. He is talking like he's the president and he's running against Trump. That's how he's talking. Just saying.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of
more fentanyl machines, and they're, guess what? Those fabs they call them.
These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing.
None. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time. This term.
All right, we're going to go right to the final comments and then that'll be it. But it's like my thing is just this, man. These motherfuckers, dude, they will. That's the thing you have to be careful about in politics. A politician will tell you anything that you want to hear to make you feel good.
It is now time for the candidates to deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that will be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit, number one. He's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along, it's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah.
Yep.
Terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what?
Hey, you know what? LSP, the freckle face artist, says Trump should bring up about his daughter's diary. I will say this about Trump to his credit, and just to show how, even though a lot of shit he did was, you could say would be petty, in this debate, he really took it light on Biden, and he didn't get off into the mudslinging. He didn't go into the petty shit he could have went into, like talking about his daughter's diary. He really could have hit that motherfucker below the belt on several occasions, and he didn't. And it just goes to me it just goes to show to me that he's just, in general, a better person in that regard. Biden was the first one to bring up the whole felony thing. Biden was the one talking shit, calling him a whiner and calling him out his name and shit like that. He was the one doing that. But Trump really showed a different level of poise, in my opinion, in not being as petty as he could have been, because he could have really fucked with him. He really could have fucked with him with on several different occasions throughout this debate. He was literally incoherent in his speech, and he could have been like, I don't understand what he just said, but he could have done that several times. He could have said, man, that was just gibberish. I didn't hear what he said, so I can't respond to it, and I'm sure the people at home couldn't respond to it. He could have played that card several times on this dude, and he didn't. He could have taken advantage of him just being slow with it and not as witty as he was, and he didn't. And he really, really could have, but he kind of kept it, in my opinion, professional. And he even talked to him about that too, just when they went back and forth about the golf handicap thing. It was like Biden didn't even understand what he was saying, because Trump was saying, motherfucker, I just played 2 tournaments, talking about his physical ability. And Biden is talking about his handicap. My handicap is a 6. It's 6 now means the 8 went from a 6 to 8. It's like, bro, we're not talking about that part. We're talking about my ability to play in 2 golf tournaments. That shows the physicality and how I'm physically capable to do it, and did it. You can't. There's no way that motherfucker could play in a fucking golf tournament. He couldn't play in a fucking chess tournament. He couldn't play in a fucking checkers tournament. Joe Biden couldn't play in a motherfucking Uno tournament right now. He just couldn't.
What we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden.
And that's all we have to say about that. The other thing, too, is just with what he did and the way that he did it. I think that this was with the constraint of the debate and all of the rules and shit that they had. I think he played this one like perfect. He played it perfect. I mean, just in the way that he handled himself, the way that he responded, the way that he stuck to the truth. He didn't get into no back and forth with Biden about that shit. He literally was dropping fact bombs. He was telling the truth, and it was like, that's what it was. He was smart enough to stay away from the things that he should have, and he was also smart enough to be able to talk about the things that he actually should be proud of. So I think he played his part in this very good. Very, very good. So it's like that was just one of my things. So it's like, what was the question you asked? He said, Brian, if you're advising Biden, what should he do in the next debate? In all actuality, I would say this. What he should do in the next debate, he should, if it was me, if I was Joe Biden, or I'm Joe Biden's son, or I'm on his team, or whatever, I would say what you need to do at this point is you need to come with some cold-hearted plans that's actually being done right now to help alleviate the shit that's going on. That's exactly what I would do. I, as far as just the best play to help, I would be like, hey, man, I know what he's talking about, what he want to do, but let me tell you what I'm doing right now. Within the next 35 days, within the next 45 days, every American is going to get $1,500 inflation relief. It's going to get, well, it needs to be something really significant, like $3,000 to help stimulate the economy, to give motherfuckers some breathing room, help motherfuckers. That's some shit to say. Next, what we gonna do? This we gonna take the money that we were gonna give to the Ukraine. We're gonna cut it in half and give it back to the American people. Some shit like that. It's like something that is significant that he can actually say, not what we gonna do, what we're trying to do, and the ideas we bring to the table, but to actually do some shit. That's what I would do. Hey, we are gonna, the fucking the mortgage interest rate is going down to 4%. I don't know how you could do it, but you need to. And I've heard motherfucker, I was watching I like the PBD podcast, and I heard this motherfucker say it one day. Yeah, the PBD he was talking about the mortgage rates. It should stay up. Oh, that's what's gonna help the country. And I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of fucking financial people and a lot of rich motherfuckers want the fucking mortgage rate to stay up because they can afford it, and they got their places and their homes and shit when it was 3%. It's like, fuck that. I want that shit to go back down to fucking 2.5%, 3%, goddamn it, so that I can fucking afford a fucking mortgage, so that my fucking friends can afford a fucking mortgage. How y'all motherfuckers got all this 2% shit and 3% shit over the years, and now all of a sudden the shit done fucking doubled. Went from fucking 3 to 7, 3 to 4 to 8. And y'all like, well, it kind of got to stay up that way. It should have never been that. Nope, fuck that. The way y'all can break all the financial rules and figure this shit out for the rest of the fucking people y'all give money to in the budget, figure this shit out. The same way we break the financial rules for every other motherfucker and just give money away, give me some money away. Y'all gonna leave the motherfucking interest rate up at motherfucking 7%? All right, cool. Give me $100,000 towards my house. Give me $100,000 tax credit. Y'all want to do that. So it's like, I'm not with that bullshit. Fuck that. Same thing y'all got, the same thing I should get. Got shit going up because motherfuckers are mismanaging shit. Nope, and I'm paying for it. Nope. Because all the while these prices are going up, all the while these motherfucking not wages, but these prices are going up, inflation is going up, gas is going up, utilities are going up, but my pay ain't. And my taxes are. I don't want to hear shit. That's all I'm saying. So I just hope, man, that this whole entire video, man, and just watching this debate and the breakdown of it, I hope that this really inspires people to, number one, start thinking for yourselves and do your own research and dig into the fucking facts, dig into the truth, and sort out the lies and the bullshit that's being told to you. And address it accordingly and adjust accordingly. I really do. This is a very critical time that is coming up in our election, And I hope that everybody fucking goes out and votes. I hope that everybody goes out and fucking vote for Donald Trump. I'm just going to say that's what it is. I hope so. Because that right now is the best chance we got to keep us from going down the road we're going now. Because this road we're going down now, trust and believe, don't none of y'all want to be on this motherfucker when it ends. Because it's going to end badly. It's going to end badly. And the only people that's going to be able to weather that storm are the super elite rich. Everybody that's making over motherfucking $500,000 are the only people that's going to be able to survive this train wreck where this motherfucker got it headed. I'm telling you that right now. I don't give a fuck what y'all got personally against Trump. I don't give a fuck if you like him or if you don't like him. All I'm telling you is he's the fucking hero we deserve. He's like the fucking Dark Knight. He may not be the hero that we want, but he's the fucking hero that we deserve, nigga. That's all I'm saying. So y'all better go vote for this motherfucker. And you better vote early. Thank you. Shout out to Angela, hit your boy with donation as well. Appreciate you. And my man DR Prime hit me up again. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thank you to everybody that donated. Thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. Please, please, please click that like button. And you guys definitely thank you for participating in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave me a comment if you would like. And if we want to further discuss, maybe I might do a show tomorrow. I'm not sure about this though, but I'll definitely do something tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all. Till next time, peace and amen.